The air in Zimbabwe carried the heavy, sweet scent of rain-drenched earth. The ground hummed, a vibration that rattled through bone and marrow. Michelle watched as the sky tore open, a shimmering fracture leaking silver light into the afternoon heat. Her long dreadlocks swayed as she gripped the cold, obsidian pendant at her throat. Its surface remained dark as a starless night as she stepped through the veil into the unknown. In a citadel of obsidian and ash, Michael traced fading constellations in an ancient tome. The dim candlelight caught the smooth curve of his head and the thick, full lines of his prominent sideband beard and mustache. He felt a sudden resonance, a frequency of warmth that didn't belong in this cold world. It was a rhythmic pulse, beating in perfect time with his own racing heart, pulling his attention away from the scrolls. The Draconian Kingdom screamed with the sound of iron meeting iron. Michelle tumbled into the chaos, parrying a guard's spear with a makeshift staff. Just as the shadows threatened to overwhelm her, a barrier of translucent sapphire energy erupted from the cobbles. She looked up to see Michael holding the line. Their eyes locked through the shimmering wall, and the obsidian pendant flared with a deep, crimson light. From the heights of the iron balcony, the rulers looked down with eyes like frozen embers. King Thorn tightened his grip on a blade forged from distilled nightmares, while Queen Vora's fingers danced over a scepter of jagged frost. They didn't see subjects, they saw fuel for their fading empire. The sudden spark of defiance in the plaza below tasted like ash, and they descended together to snuff it out. King Thorn moved like a predator, his heavy armor clanking as he lunged. He swung his shadow-wrapped broadsword in a wide arc, meant to cleave through spirit and bone alike. Michelle didn't flinch. She pivoted on her heel, her movement fluid and rhythmic, catching the heavy blade on her staff. Her pendant burned against her skin, fueled by the realization that she was fighting for the sage who stood at her back. Queen Vora unleashed a torrent of black ice toward Michael. He didn't reach for a weapon. He spoke to the air in a language of old songs. As the shards of frost whistled toward him, he wove a tapestry of golden light with his fingers. The ice didn't shatter. It transformed, dissolving into a flurry of soft white petals that drifted harmlessly to the ground. His ancient wisdom felt complete only now, with Michelle nearby. Together, Michael's voice cut through the roar of the war. He reached out, his hand steady and open. Michelle laced her fingers through his without hesitation. The moment their skin touched, the obsidian necklace didn't just glow, it ignited. The love piece shed its dark shell, revealing a core of brilliant rose gold that pulsed like a living sun, fueled by the connection they had forged in the furnace of battle. They raised their joined hands, hoisting the love piece toward the choked gray sky. A shockwave of pure crystalline light erupted from the pendant, washing over the jagged city like a tide. Where the light touched, the obsidian towers crumbled and reformed into pillars of milk-white marble. The scent of ozone vanished, replaced by the smell of rain on thirsty soil and the blooming of hidden flowers. King Thorn and Queen Vora recoiled as the radiance reached them. Their dark armor didn't break. It simply melted away like morning mist. The fear they had used as a throne was gone, leaving them small and hollow against the growing dawn. As the old world dissolved into light, a heavy, peaceful exhaustion pulled at Michelle and Michael, and they felt themselves slipping into a dreamless golden sleep. Michelle opened her eyes to the sound of songbirds. She wasn't on a battlefield, but atop the balcony of a palace, overlooking a valley of eternal spring. Michael stood beside her, no longer a weary sage, but a king in robes of emerald and gold. He took her hand, his touch a familiar anchor. Their new kingdom was quiet, built on the steady rhythm of the peace they had finally earned. The years slowed to a gentle pace in the palace gardens. Queen Michelle sat beneath a flowering tree, her dreadlocks adorned with small golden rings. She watched as young Melanie, with her mother's bright eyes, chased a pair of iridescent butterflies through the tall grass. Melanie wore a small, wooden replica of the love piece around her neck, a reminder that the greatest magic was found in a kind heart. On the other side of the courtyard, King Michael lifted their son, Raphael, into the air. Raphael's laughter echoed off the marble walls as he pointed toward a flock of white birds soaring over the hills. Michael laughed with him, his full beard framing a wide, joyful smile. They were the architects of a new era, living proof that love was the only force strong enough to rebuild a world from the ashes.